And welcome back to the WCHE Morning Show. I'm Eric Lemberek. Co-host today is Barry D. Joining us next in the studio, we have John O'Brien, the Executive Director of Downtown Westchester. Going to be discussing the organization as well as the upcoming World Music Day taking place this weekend in Westchester. John, welcome to the show. How's it going today?
It's good. Good morning, everyone.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you here on the show. Looking forward to a lot of things to talk about here as well.
I know you didn't have a problem finding parking.
Not for me. I'm more well versed in the parking situation in Westchester than most, so I'm advantage there.
And then you just walked over.
And
it was
I
a
did
block
walk,
away.
Yeah, block away from me. Yeah,
pretty close. Glad you can find us here. So, of course, a lot of stuff to talk about here, and I wanted to dive in right away to your guys' mission. So, for people who hear the term Business Improvement District as well as Downtown Westchester, and maybe they're not sure exactly what it does, what is your guys' mission, and what do you guys do for the local community?
Yeah, what could possibly need improving in Westchester?
Sure. So I'll try and give you my elevator pitch. So we're called legally the Westchester Business Improvement District. We were founded in 2000. For longtime listeners who've been around Westchester, you know the town that we have today is not necessarily the town that I grew up in, with all of the restaurants,
right?
The beautiful streetscape. So the organization was founded to help improve the town. This is where municipal authority of the borough. We're set up under state law. About 2 years ago, we rebranded as Downtown Westchester, specifically because if you go to our website, downtownwestchester.com, our social media is Downtown Westchester, create some brand consistency there. But we also kind of felt exactly when you say improvement district, it means that you're up and coming. We do like to think Westchester arrived. Our job is to help support the small business community in what people generally think as the downtown. Longtime residents will refer to it as uptown. That's always a fight, whether it's downtown or uptown.
Right.
But we all know what we're talking about. Our goals are to attract and support new businesses. So that's helping them get off the ground, formulate marketing plans, because a lot of times people come in, they have a really great idea, but all those other hats that you have to wear as a small business owner, they might not be as well versed in. We help them, or we connect them with nonprofits who maybe help them with tax information, financing, things like that. We do customer attraction, which is recruiting customers both hyper-locally in the greater Westchester area, as well as people who want to look at Westchester for a day trip or an overnight stay. That's done through a marketing plan. I mentioned our social media accounts. We have over 40,000 on Facebook, over 30,000 on Instagram. We do a limited amount on other media channels, print, some radio, TV is generally too expensive for us. But coming out of the pandemic, we did a lot of events. So, we just hosted a World Cup watch party with Kildare's this past Friday. Tonight is going to be another iteration of Westchester Taps, which is borough-wide happy hour. Happens every Wednesday between Labor Day or Memorial Day and Labor Day. And then we'll talk a little bit about the World Music Day, which is the Welcome to the Summer. That's coming up this Sunday. So that's the customer attraction side. And there's events. You can go to downtownwestchester.com. We always have something going in town. They're hooks to get people to come into town, something to do, and then we hope that you come out and support our retail stores, our personal care businesses, our restaurants, etc. We also run a clean and green program. So that is, we have a part-time associate who picks up trash, removes graffiti throughout the downtown. We partner on art projects. We've partnered with the borough on the new mural for America 250 at the corner of New and Gay. If you have not seen it, it is complete. Please come check it out.
Really?
It looks pretty awesome.
We got to get a picture
impressive
of that for the Facebook page.
And we did like the mural that's on the side of the Masters Baker. We helped Masters Baker with that project as well. So we're really big into art as well. The holiday decorations you see in town, I personally hang a lot of them myself.
That's a yeoman's work, man. That's a ton of work.
But it's all to try and beautify Westchester. A lot of the flower beds, flower pots you see throughout the downtown, we pay for and maintain. So that's our clean and green. And then our final thing is we're the advocates for the small businesses between local, state, and federal government. So dealing with parking issues, dealing with police issues, building and housing.
Can I interrupt you just one second? Parking issues.
Yes.
Parking issues. What is with the parking garage over at the Justice Center? On the weekends, it's not open, the last 15 floors.
Yes.
What is up with that?
So that is owned by the county.
Whatever.
And they completely make their own decisions. They do not usually inform us or the borough, and I know the borough usually takes a lot of flack for the decisions that have been made over there.
And I don't blame them at all, right. I figured that was a county garage.
But I think the way the county has looked at it is they have an asset that they're going to try and monetize
Monetize it. Open it
their
up.
job is to the whole entire county. But so that is why that garage is kind of separate. But I know parking is always a big issue. Just want to give a plug. It would make
such a huge difference right there.
And and during the weekends, there are availability in that.
There's available on the first 2 floors.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's still closed off.
And I'm not sure if they're reserving that for employees that might have to come in late or what their situation is. But I did want to plug to your customers. I'm sure they've heard the borough has switched to Park Mobile as our new app.
We freed Flowbird.
So Flowbird, we had a lot of issues with. Park Mobile is used in the city of Philadelphia throughout the main line. We're confident that that's going to be a better solution. If you do not like using an app, because I know there's a lot of customers who don't, there are a ton of kiosks around the street. They now have signage that says pay here. All you need is your license plate and a credit card, so you don't need to download an app if that's not cool. Something that you want to do. Additionally, we always encourage people park in the garages or the parking lots. They're a lot easier to come to. There's this belief in Westchester that you can't find parking. I talk to a lot of counterparts in media and Phoenixville and other areas. They're jealous of Westchester's parking situation. Believe it or not, I know that'll sound strange to some people, but we have a ton of parking capacity. There's always a spot available.
Phoenixville's brutal.
Yeah, exactly. And you can try and you can get generally a spot within a block or two. Mm-hmm. The way the town's laid out, yes, you're not going to get it's not a strip mall. You're not going to get a parking spot directly in front of the business.
What city has that?
But
it's not possible.
If you really thought about if you go to like a super Walmart and the distance you park from where you park to where you get to your items, it's going to be the same distance as Westchester. Just feels different because of turning corners and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you can go downtownwestchester.com. On the top, there's a parking tab. It gives you all the great information about parking. It's a big thing we're trying to push. So
yeah, well, it's funny. You go to Main Street in Exton, they park in the front because you're going to go to this store. You end up wandering through all those places anyways. What difference does it make?
And that was designed. I mean, Main Street was designed because of towns like Westchester trying to capture that feel.
Exactly. That was the whole point of it. That's exactly it.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of good things so far about Park Mobile. I've actually heard about the accessibility and everything, and it helps that you mention where you can just with your card and your license plate and everything. So it sounds like you make it pretty easy. Also sounds like you guys stay pretty busy with everything that you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really unique and fun role because I get to wear a bunch of different hats. And there's a new challenge. I appreciate you having me in studio. My big thing is I really like to talk to people in person. I know we're 6 years out of the pandemic. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that. But the phone calls, emails, I mean, they're great. They're good, quick points of competition. But, I'm a big in promoting a sense of community. I think that's what makes Westchester special. It's how I recruit businesses to come here is because you're not just going to be in a mall and just be another number to them. You're going to be part of the fabric here. And so that's why I like, consistently you'll hear me, whether it's in my weekly newsletter or anything, you'll always hear me talk about community because I feel like it's fundamental to Westchester being what it is.
Yeah, very important for sure. Now, a lot of people associate downtown Westchester with events like Restaurant Week, the Gay Street closures, as well as World Music Day. How important are some of these events to the overall health of downtown Westchester?
Extremely important. Like I said, prior to the pandemic, we didn't really get into too much event planning, especially direct event planning like we do now. Just the way customers are and, when outside of restaurants, in terms of like retail shopping or things, people do more activities more online and you need a hook to kind of get them in town. It's not just enough to have beautiful streetscape. And like I said, the great restaurants, great retail stores. Sometimes you need a little extra to get them in here.
Right.
And so that's why we do this past Saturday, we hosted a yoga in the street when you mentioned the Gay Street closure for the open air market at 9 a.m. on the second and fourth Saturdays.
We had 100 lot of ohms.
We had 122 people who showed up, which is our record breaking for us. So it was great weather. So there's always a desirability for people to get out of the house, and we just need to find ways to kind of bring them in. It helps our small business as well.
Eric does not look good in yoga pants, by the way.
It's for all practice levels. Yeah. It's accessible to anyone.
Yep. Yeah. So as far as I wanted to dive a little bit more into the open air marketplace. So the concept's really become a part of Westchester's identity. What has been some of the long-term impacts of this initiative? I know it's been going on for a little while. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So for those who aren't familiar, in the summertime, so from the beginning of May to the end of September, We close 4 blocks of Gay Street from Matlack to Darlington on the weekend, so that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, for an open-air pedestrian market, which we call the open-air market. Allows outdoor shopping, outdoor dining. A lot of times we'll have music set up or different events that go on. It was born out of the pandemic when it was obviously a lot more risky to go inside and, as an economic response to get customers feel safe, come in, support the businesses so that they could get through those hard times. But the residents and borough council and, most of our businesses fell in love with the event. And so we kind of have continued it year after year. The borough, along with gracious support from the county, invested in a new bollard system, which you'll see at several intersections.
Yeah,
That's
very
phase
nice.
1. There are plans to address the other areas where we just have orange water barriers right now. But it's grant funded, so it's a process to get there. We did just work with PennDOT, and we got some green light that we're going to be able to work on some of the road closure signs that, if you've seen, sometimes it makes it feel a little bit of like a construction zone.
That's true.
Because it used to be a state road, now it's locally owned. So hopefully this summer we're going to be working with the borough to redesign the signage to make it a little bit more welcoming to everybody.
Well, that's going to be easier once it leaves the state's auspices and it's in your control.
Right.
It's easier to shut things down for parades and all that type of thing.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons the borough made that push, is to take ownership. So we kind of swapped with them. They got Chestnut Street as part of Route, because Route 3 terminates here. Mm-hmm. So we moved it onto Chestnut Street as the state road, and then the borough took the 5 blocks of Gay Street.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, and it did come together pretty quickly with the construction, with the bollards and everything.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
those guys are lightning.
That was one of the quickest construction projects, because, look, I'm sure everybody listening has a story about road construction in Westchester.
Sure.
It's all over the borough right now, but the Marino Construction did a fantastic job. And, they got them in. They were really well with communicating and finished. Their deadline was supposed to be in July.
Yeah.
Really?
So they really moved forward.
Yeah, I remember
quickly.
seeing it would say like the dates on it, and it was well above schedule.
They said, "Where's my check?"
Right. So let me dive into next. We mentioned World Music Day. We foreshadowed that a little bit earlier. So for listeners who may not be familiar, what exactly is World Music Day, and how did Westchester become involved?
Sure. So I had a resident who approached me in 2022. The World Music Day started in Paris as Fête de la Musique is the French term, and that's what we called it the first year. It is a welcoming of summer by basically having musicians play on street corners throughout a town as just kind of a fun welcome to summer. Like I said, we called it Fête de la Musique the first time. That became difficult for a lot of Americans to pronounce.
What the hell do these feet have to do with it?
So we went to the anglicized version of World Music Day, and so this is going to be our 5th year hosting the event. Like I said, we have musicians of all different styles, all different levels. So we have kids playing, we have professionals playing, Americana, jazz, reggae, anything that you can possibly imagine. And it's a free event. So it's just a cool way to celebrate summer. So you'll come to downtown Westchester, walk around. The event runs from 1:30 to 7. If you go to downtownwestchester.com, if you have a very specific musical taste that you're looking for, right on the homepage, there's a link for World Music Day, and it has a map of all the locations of where bands are going to play and who's playing at what time.
Yeah, so I'm seeing 1:30 to 7. Is that right for the time?
1:30 to 7.
Are the bands all acoustic, or are there electrified versions too?
Both, yes.
Really?
Yeah, and there's some and then we have some classical music as well. So, in the past we've had like a harpist who has played before. So it's always a little different. The whole idea is to showcase local talent.
Sure.
And that doesn't, I know, a lot of us get used to rock cover bands that, play at like a bar that we go to.
Right.
We really wanted to.
That's why it's World Music Day.
show the spectrum of the local talent we have in this area.
Yeah, so you said this is the 5th year?
5th year that we've doing this, yep.
Yeah, so been running a little while here.
They can mix it. The person that plays the harp could play Smoke on the Water.
Yeah. And so far, the good thing is we have great weather. All our events, most of our events that we do are outside, and weather always is the driving factor in the crowds.
Right.
So we're really excited about some good weather here, because it's one of those events that we really can't rain date because there's just so many moving pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to reschedule people would be very difficult.
Either is or isn't.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the big thing in the summer. Thankfully, for the most part, the weather has cooperated. So as your role executive director, you spent years helping shape downtown Westchester. What's your favorite part of the job?
Like I said, I've talked about the community. I love talking to people. Prior to this, I worked for the Pennsylvania House of Representatives, and I've always lived in Westchester. I went to St. Agnes right down the block from here. I'm a 2-time graduate of Westchester University. I volunteered for the Westchester Fire Department for the last 23 years. So I'm a true townie. You're not going to find many more people that are more Westchester than I am.
You dedicated, man.
Raising my family in this area. So I jumped at the opportunity in 2020 to be able to work here and be able to move the town forward and really roll up my sleeves and see some of our projects get off the ground. It's been a couple of years, but one of the highlights has been the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission did this study right out of the pandemic saying, like, 75 small towns, we're going to evaluate them in southeastern PA, southern New Jersey. That includes, like, neighborhoods in Philly as a small town, like Amaniunk or something, is how they chunked out the city, and evaluated how they survived the pandemic economically. And they cited things that are going to be risks for a town, like being a college town, which Westchester is. I know some people debate, but yes, we are a college town. And we were one of the 10 least impacted. And I think that's because of, a great supportive local community who wanted to invest in their small businesses, the hard work of our small business owners. But I also like to think of, the extra efforts that downtown Westchester did with the outdoor dining policies that we worked with Borough Council on, not just on Gay Street, but other places, our extra marketing campaign to connect people with those small businesses, and to really see a lot of our businesses be able to come out of that storm on the other side was very impactful for me.
And you've created basically a destination. So it's not just the people in the town. It's people coming from all over the county.
Yep, that's the hope. The county is southeastern PA, northern Delaware, northern Maryland, Lancaster County. Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and speaking of the Business Spotlight, you guys had us on the Business Spotlight this week, so wanted to just thank you guys for that.
Yeah, so we do a weekly e-newsletter every week, so that'll come out today at 3:30, and WCHE will be the Spotlight, and then tomorrow on our social media is when we're going to be going there as well. So if you want to learn, sure, listeners know so much about you, but our hope is to connect people to businesses or experiences that they haven't. So that's hopefully that, somebody will check you guys out.
It was a great time having Rebecca and Barry. Couldn't make it.
Yeah, I couldn't make it. Sadly, I couldn't be there.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, but, you'll get more readers now. So that'll be perfect because I'm not there.
That's true. So as far
you didn't have to agree with me on that.
So as far as like upcoming events, so we mentioned World Music Day. Do you guys have anything else fun on the horizon this summer?
And kind of for the listeners, going off Barry wearing his American flag jacket, talk a little bit about America 250 and Westchester. Some of the things we have planned. So we talked about the great America 250 mural that's up that features Horace Pippin, who's a local artist, Hannah Freeman, the last Lenape Indian, and John Hannum, who was a colonel in the American Revolutionary War, Hannum Avenue for viewers. And so that's one thing. We bought American flag banners, which are going up throughout the downtown. We have lights that are lit up on Gay Street right now in the month of June for Pride. But in July, we'll light them up red, white, and blue. We're putting up extra bunting. So a lot of it is some visual effects. Partnering with the History Center, they're doing some walking tours to really get people involved in the history of the town. August 2nd, there's going to be a street festival in Westchester with reenactors, music, period time games. That is going to be the 4 blocks of the Gay Street closure. It's a partnership, not only the borough of Westchester, but the surrounding municipalities. August 2nd was selected because that was the day that the Declaration of Independence was actually ratified by the Continental Congress. We didn't opt for July 4th just because there's so much going on, especially being so close to Philadelphia. So we wanted a little space from that. And then that night there will be a drone show as well. So we're excited about that. We're also going to be working with the borough and the county on doing a time capsule and doing some street planning. So we're really excited about America 250, trying to generate some buzz in Westchester about that as well. And America 250, for folks, that's going to go beyond just this year, because next year will be the 250th anniversary to the Battle of the Brandywine, which is right outside of town. So there's going to be a lot of fun things. I'm a big history guy, but we're trying to make this interactive, so it's not just history nerds like myself who are going to want to go to lectures and things. There's going to be a lot of visual elements in it as well.
You know, the time capsule, you only get to participate one of two ways, either putting the stuff in or taking the stuff out. But you're not going to be at both of them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I just saw recently they had one, I think, for the Phillies. They were talking about it's 2033 it'll open. So
really?
It's
wow.
like, yeah. So
hey,
those things are always really cool, I find.
So we got the right guy here.
Mm-hmm.
How's Steve-O ever done on the bed races? He wants to do those bed races.
He talked about it. I don't know beyond that.
Bed races.
Over in Phoenixville.
Like, we need to do our own.
What's it called? Yes, I know what you're talking about.
We need to do our own. How do we do that? Do we talk to you and say, okay, let's make this happen?
We talk.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk to me. I have a wealth of knowledge on how to make that work.
How much fun. Yeah. Okay.
So we're also going to be doing an adult trike race actually right outside of your studio.
Oh, get out of here.
On Friday, August, I believe it's the 8th. Let me just double check.
No, is this like big wheels?
7th, Friday, August 7th. For people who remember, there used to be the Iron Hill Criterium in town, which was that professional bike race. The organizers made it too hard to kind of bring that back. But so there's basically a big wheel trike.
Right.
That teams will ride for the right to win the Golden Trike Trophy. If you want more information, once again, you can go to downtownwestchester.com. We have 2 team slots left. You need to have a team of 5 members, co-ed, and 18 plus. So it's just a fun, unique thing, kind of along what you're talking about with the bed.
What's the distance?
So we start basically right at Church Street, and we go about 3/4 of the way down the block. It's a relay race. So one member of the team takes the trike down and back, and then the next person goes, and that's how it goes. It goes a lot quicker than you think, but it's a lot of fun. This is going to be the 3rd year we're doing this, so it's slowly building its way up year after year.
What day is this?
It is Friday, August 7th, starting at 3:30 p.m.
Yeah,
I got an appearance up in Binghamton. Otherwise, we would so be in that. Well, you want to get together with the rest of the team and do this.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
We did like the chili cook-off last year. Always looking for things to do.
We're doing the
Blues Fest, so always some good stuff.
And there's a best dress category as well. So, teams that sign up, be creative with your outfits.
We're in radio.
I mean, you dress the part. Me, not so much, but you dress the part.
I got to carry the rest of the team.
Of course. So, John, as we wrap up here, we really, really appreciate you coming on this morning. So how can our listeners, if they want to learn more about downtown Westchester, how can they do that? Contact you guys? Sure. You want to provide that?
Best thing is to go to our website, downtownwestchester.com, and our social medias, which are at Downtown Westchester. That's on TikTok, that's on Facebook, that's on Instagram. So that's the best way to follow along. When you go to the website, you can sign up to the weekly newsletter. For those who might have specific questions for me, my email is jobrian@wcbid.com. Mm-hmm. But those are the best ways to reach out to us.
Cool. We appreciate it, Barry. Anything else?
No, it was great having you on, man. Now I'm all excited. We're going to figure out how to do the bed races, and I'm going to sucker you guys into doing this big wheel thing. Do we have to supply them, or do you supply them?
We supply them, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to teach you guys how to jimmy some of the wheels on some other competitors. Their wheels fall off.
Okay.
We can make this happen.
Yeah, all right, so I'll have to look out for that. I'm usually the line judge, so you already told the wrong guy your plans.
We'll blurt that out. So, John, we appreciate you coming on, and you're welcome back anytime.
I would love to be back. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, our microphone, your microphone. Stop in.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, John.